Hi, friends. We are just 2 chapters away from finishing our book. I think it's been so good. I totally dig it. You know, I love a good Dan Gutman story, so. We are still continuing to read Mr. Granite is from Another Planet. We are on chapter number 12, Sad, Sad News. Page number 83 if you're following along. Ready? I couldn't sleep that night. All I could do was think about Mr. Granite. What if he was lying? What if he really came here to take over our planet and turn us into killer zombie robot slaves? Stuff like that happens all the time, you know. I wish I had been able to buy one of those laser beam pens at Staples. Maybe Mr. Granite was just pretending to be nice so it would be easier for him to take over the world. Maybe I should tell Mr. Klutz. If I didn't say anything and Mr. Granite took over our planet, it would probably be all my fault. This was the hardest decision I ever had to make. My brain hurt from thinking so much. I was afraid my head was going to explode. Did you finish your homework? My mom asked me on Monday morning. Homework? I said. Aliens from another planet could be attacking at this very second, and you're worried about homework? Finally, I just decided to tell Mr. Klutz what I knew. As soon as I got to school, I marched into his office. He had a machine on his desk, and it looked like a little microwave oven. Hey, check this out, AJ, said Mr. Klutz. It's called the Ultimate Recycler. This gizmo can turn a can into a bottle or a bottle into a can. So instead of throwing away a bottle, you can just turn it into a can instead. And instead of throwing away a can, you could just turn it into a bottle. This will be so great for our environment. Why not just take the can or bottle and rinse it out, I asked, and then you can definitely use it again. Said Mr. Klutz. That's such a great idea, AJ. No wonder you're in the Gifted and Talented program. He picked up the Ultimate Recycler and threw it into the recycling bin. Mr. Klutz, I said, I have proof that Mr. Granite is from another planet. I saw him building a spaceship in his garage. Mr. Klutz said. Well, I have some news for you, AJ. I looked through the Board of Education rulebook very carefully, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing in there that states that aliens from other planets cannot teach 3rd grade. So Mr. Granite can stay on Earth if he wanted to? I asked. Well, that's right, said Mr. Klutz. In fact, I'll call him in here right now to tell him the good news. Mr. Klutz called Mr. Granite over the intercom. A few minutes later, Mr. Granite came in the office, and when he saw me, he looked mad. It's okay, Mr. Klutz, said Mr. Granite. I know you're from another planet, but I think you're an excellent teacher, and I would really like you to stay here at elementary school. Mr. Klutz and Mr. Granite hugged, which is a little weird. Oh, you are very kind, Mr. Granite said, but my work here is done. I am ready to return to my home planet of Etnarg. I blast off this Friday. But I thought you said you didn't have any rocket fuel, I asked him. Oh, I don't need rocket fuel anymore, Mr. Granite told me. I met with Mr. Docker over the weekend, and he figured out a way to power my spaceship with potatoes. Wow, I knew you could power a car with potatoes, and I knew you could power a computer with potatoes, but how are you going to get a spaceship off the ground with just potato power? Is that possible? I asked. It is, Mr. Granite said, and we are going to microwave the potatoes. On Monday, we'll read the last chapter in this book, and then we'll move to a new one. You should be thinking if there's anything you can add to the plot now that we know a little bit more. I'm thinking you can add a then sentence, and after the last chapter, we'll add the last, this is what happened. I'll see you on Monday.